Nigeria know they hold elections. Waiting Nigeria they hold na Shege Subscription Renewal Program, SSRP. This program is meant every 4 years conducted so that you go intensify the degree of sufferhead and pain upon Nigerians every 4 years. That is why you go ask yourself the question, why be say no matter how bad one leader be, when the next person come, you go start to miss that other one. We've been thinking saying that Jonathan was passed on Nigeria. That was the thinking. And then Buhari came. Because there was even Occupy Nigeria, he must go. Buhari came, everybody say, At the end of Buhari, when they shout, say Baba, at the end, they started shouting Bama, so even for not. Because there was one day Buhari visited his hometown. The day he reached there, bandits attack and kidnap more than 200 children. Meaning the hand of incompetence is long enough to go round, whether you support or not. Then Buhari left, and then Tinubu has come now. People don't they talk, say maybe Buhari been better. Imagine seeing waiting go make you miss Tinubu.
Hey, God forbid.
So, what we call government in Nigeria is organized criminality. Every sector in Nigeria is in shambles. But the major problem is that Nigeria, we have wasted time talking about the problem instead of handling the solution. If we call ourselves a democracy, the hallmark of every democracy is free, fair, and credible elections. Elections are not just part of a democracy, they are the foundation of a democracy. Because in democracy, power must come from the people. So what we have been doing is telling ourselves a lie, a deceit. Because why I say that is most important is because that is the first system of accountability. Why I leave people where they decamp, the people where they go, is because they boast an arrogance of corrupt politicians is a criminal electoral process.
Please say that again.
The arrogance and confidence of a corrupt political class is in a criminal electoral process because they know they can weaponize it against the people. There is no politician who will know that there is an electoral process that has the capacity to vote me in and vote me out that will conduct themselves in the way that Nigerian politicians are doing. Why will somebody be defecting to the APC? Is it because they have done so well? And why is it that when one person defects to a party, automatically change the entire voting pattern of that state? Shana, the governor, they think for the other people. It is because they know that there is a system to weaponize. That is why I place focus on that electoral process. Because if somebody, you talk say that they defect, that they decamp, if everybody where they destroy Nigeria, they come together under one umbrella, what are we, the 200 million victims of their recklessness and irresponsibility, when we go come together, decide to also form our own group to hold them accountable? So while you are complaining about hunger, insecurity, poverty, lack of health infrastructure, the people that put you in that situation are preparing to come back. So you will now renew for another 4 years. So it is either you meet them at that point, because there is no other way. Even if you do revolution, you fight, you scatter everywhere, you must come back and pick leadership. So electoral reform and elections is a must do.
It's good as you don't start like this, because it is very, very clear. Say, if you not solve the problem, the result where you go get not be one way go make belle sweet.
It no go work.
And you said something about 200 million Nigerians.
Yes.
Because it means say, you know, if you get this number of people, they suffer. When it be said, if you do the right thing and solve the problem. But talking about doing the right thing, when we talk about reforms, now the National Assembly, constitutionally, go change our laws in order to resolve the problems we face.
Yes.
What do you think of the National Assembly under the leadership of Senator Godswill Akpabio?
In fact, this 10th National Assembly is still talking about missing former ones. Nigeria has been thinking say the 9th Assembly under Senator Ahmed Lawan was probably the worst. But right now, as we see, the 10th Assembly is almost the APC town hall. In the sense that the National Assembly is supposed to be, in the US Constitution where we copy, it comes first before the presidency. The idea of democracy is National Assembly. Because in the military regime, that is the only arm of government that is not available. So democracy is National Assembly. They perform oversight over executive and judiciary. Imagine a National Assembly that see themselves as subordinates to the executive, where there are no checks and balances. For 2 years, when President Tinubu go to submit budget, they greet him with what? His political mantra, on their mandate they shall fall. So when you begin to see that, and then nobody is checking anything, tomorrow nobody knows how budget they depart them and whatever. But the issue is that this issue of electoral reform, there were loopholes in the 2022 electoral law. where a lot of people no pay attention to. Nigerians say there was electoral reform. Section 60 subsection 5 say the presiding officer will transmit results in a way and manner as prescribed by INEC. The whole of elections, we are at the mercy of INEC or whoever is running it. So they will leave a loophole where judiciary go use technicality. But the question is, whether you don't believe in them or not, you must mount the necessary pressure to get the change you want. Because if you ask yourself, if you don't get it from them, when? The people will go come after them, will it be easier? So no matter how bad the institution will be, if the majority of the people unite and say enough, we demand this, it will happen.
Interesting. So from what you don't talk now, it is very, very clear. Say, we know the problem.
Yes.
We know those when go solve them.
Yes.
But if those people not put body to solve them, the problem no go they solved. Now, it now behooves on the people who would suffer the consequences to deal with this situation. Now, before I talk about the people when go fit maybe put body to solve this problem,
yes,
you are using your voice and your platform to enlighten and inform Nigerians. Make I ask you, wetin they responsible for this your decision to say, me now I get voice, I get platform, and wetin I want use and do be this?
My love for humanity, my upbringing and personal experiences, and my knowledge to know that as I dey Nigeria today, I am just a potential victim. All of us seated here, we are just one court order away from being remanded in a prison. If any politician no like wetin we dey talk here, does not need to waste time, go before a magistrate that is already having a court order pending. They put you there, adjourn the case. They say no judge, they are awaiting trial. Before you know, you spend more time than a possible prison sentence. 200 people died for Benue. I'm not better than any of them. More than 400 killed in a flood in Niger. I'm not better than anybody. We must all realize that as we are, anything Nigeria can happen to you and meet you at any point. So if your fear is death, is what you prefer a life of cowardice because you were too afraid to speak up and demand for what you deserve. Life is not a la carte. It will not give you what you deserve. It is what you demand. Anything that you want to get, you must wake up and be courageous enough to demand for it. If I want to jackpot, no be people build America. If no be people build Canada, why can Nigerians not build Nigeria? So if we continue postponing the evil day, we are just leaving ourselves and postponing our victimhood for more and more time.
All said and done. What political ideology do you submit to?
Daddy Freeze, I thank you very much because I know that the intellectual part of this question now. Do you know I do not personally like to hinge on a particular political ideology in a certain way. What I base my entire political ideology is about the betterment of humanity. Because anything has its own pros and cons. You can decide to swing this way or that way. But I am of the opinion and in the platform that you can do better through leadership, and that the welfare of people and humanity must be better because you are given certain level of power and office to occupy. So that is where my political ideology comes from, that humanity is better because of the actions and decisions that we make and take.